Hey guys, what's going on? It's Sublobble right about now, bringing you the latest video to the channel. So we do have the crypto bubbles up now. We'll go through the weekly and the daily crypto bubbles. As you can see over on the weekly, we are down approximately anywhere between sort of 5 to 10%, I would say, with the exception of Stronghold, which is built on the Stellar Lumens blockchain. Okay, that is down roughly 20% there. If we go over to the daily, you can see Toshi is actually up on the day, up nearly 10%. Zebek is the biggest loser today, down 12.7%. And we've got a couple of other green bubbles over here, Quant being one of them, 5.1%. We've got H-bar hiding behind here, 0.8%. So yeah, we're not looking too clever, guys. However, I do believe we are looking at some remarkable gains going into Q4. Now, we're going to go through this shortlist as well. So we're going to cover some of these cryptos that we don't generally cover. We will cover XCN as always. We'll see how many cryptos we get down anyway. So it's going to be a mixed bag today. So these are some of the favorite coins that I picked. One or two coins are missing that me and the Discord are involved in. So big shout out to anybody that's a Discord member. Link down below in the description if you guys want to join that. You can grab yourself a 3-day free trial as well. See what it's all about. We have got the AI technicals in there, obviously all the latest news, etc., etc. So yeah, the first chart up here. Let's go over to Toshi here. So you can see here we're on the 3-hour time frame now. So this is absolutely remarkable. It's absolutely wild. So I do believe right now Toshi is a massive buy. Having said that, we have got this sort of bull flag here. So I was actually in Toshi long before we did get this impulse. So I've been doing okay. Despite the sort of down sort of trend across many cryptos, ultimately Toshi did run up there approximately, anywhere between sort of 90 to 100%, depending on where you're measuring from. We've got these nice gains, and then we've been forming this sort of bull flag here. So we got the first sort of trend line here, which was acting as resistance, and we've got the bottom sort of parallel channel as well, adjacent to that as well. So, you know what, created a perfect sort of bull flag. We have experienced a fake out down here, in my opinion. Yeah, this was this was quite a worry. I did hold, told the Discord that I was holding, and then we blew up to the upside here. So we've broken out here. We've had this is all happening today, Wednesday, the 24th of September. We've had a few closes here now, so I do believe Toshi's holding really nicely on the 3-hour time frame. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Toshi does make a run for it now and start targeting this sort of liquidation spike up here. If we just mark that out on the chart there. And then what we'll do is we'll measure up just to have a look to see what sort of gains we can expect. Possibly a 40% rally to the upside. I have got higher targets over in the Discord, especially if we're looking at the daily. These daily closes. This is the highest daily close that we've had. Up here, this green candle there, that's where it closed. So that would also be the sort of interim target. So, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised now if Toshi has got a big rally. As long as this sort of level holds, like I say, we're always dealing with probabilities when it comes to trading and investing. So, you know what? Toshi could roll over. It could be a fake high and it could continue trading back inside this bull flag. But if we do get a positive break, you look at anywhere between sort of 40 all the way up to approximately 80% gains, in my opinion. 40 to 80% gains, I'd be more than happy with that in the interim. Now, let's have a look at Quant. Let's just scroll out a Quant just to see where we're at now. Scroll out, scroll out. So this is a lovely macro picture here. So this has been going on prior to... when's this trading? 2022, so over 3 years ago now. Quant has been building this beautiful sort of wedge pattern. We broke out here, we broke out again. In my view, there is still chance for Quant to roll over. This could possibly continue running up, but in my view, we have respected this multi-year wedge, for many, many years now. So it would be a little bit bizarre if Quant was to get away and not actually retest the tip of that apex. Not that it has to, but still, I'm pretty much 50-50 on Quant, and I do believe there's other cryptos out there that have got a better return on investment and sort of more favourable setups. If we get to the end of the year and Quant's down here around sort of, say, anywhere between sort of $60 to $70, around $70, I would be backing the truck up in sort of November, December for quant, because I do believe it is a fantastic opportunity to make generational wealth. So quant at the moment, it's a little bit in no man's land. I'd like to give it an extra, 4 to 8 weeks, let that play out over sort of October, November, see where we're at. Okay. I'm going to skip over to Gala as well. I'm not going to cover ZCX, not exactly a popular coin in this sort of landscape, if you will. And similarly to quant, it's a multi-year wedge for Gala, and I've been a big advocate of accumulating Gala. Not that it's financial advice, it's just what I'm doing. We did have some disappointment up here, especially coming out of US elections. Although we did get a rally, it failed to hold, and we're back inside this sort of wedge here. As you can see, if I scroll in for you guys now, it looks as if Gala is actually bouncing off the wedge. So we are holding nicely. But again, there's still that risk that we do trade into the sort of end of year, rolling into 2026 before we see any explosive moves. So there's two coins indicating that it could be the turn of the year before we do see explosive moves, and that's being Quant and Gala, and they are two big cryptos with a large market cap. Okay, if you just come down to Velo now, we are working through ever so slowly. We have got XRP. We'll take a look at others. We'll see what's what. Okay, VRA Veracity as well, one of my faves. So where are we now? We're just at Velo. So this is taking a lovely bounce, Velo. If I just delete this yellow line out here, look at this. I've had these lines drawn in for many, many months now. Maybe even from the start of the turn of the year, actually, after the US elections back in November of last year, coming into the new year. We've had this sort of triple peak here, and you can see quite evidently you got this support coming in. These red trend lines, these work absolutely remarkable as a sort of area of, acting as support and resistance. Right now, we are down at resistance around the 22nd of September. I've already got marked out there. So we're down here. So right now, for me, risk to reward, if you got a lump sum of money and you're a little bit skeptical about, should I reinvest now? Say, for example, you've been fortunate enough to sort of take money off the table before we've seen this, this downturn recently. If you've got money that you're still unsure about, for me, it's a very strong possibility that Velo's going to bounce off this support line, as it's sort of showcased here over the past sort of 3 years. So for me, the obvious destination, I don't know how long it's going to take until we get to this top of this red trend line. Now, if I was to measure these gains on Velo, you're looking at approximately around sort of 320%. Obviously, this is a moving target as well. Say, for example, if we're only hitting the red trend line towards the end of December, going into the new year, you're talking more like 411% gains from current price action. So that's a 5x your capital from now up until the end of the year. Can it get to those prices to the end of the year? Who's to know? Now, if it was just to go back in time here, for instance, if I just pull it out for you so you guys can see, I can do a sort of time analysis here. So when we hit the bottom here, it literally took us 68 days. Okay, 68 days to go from bottom to top. And right from here, where we marked the bottom, all the way to here, that took more like 264 days. Okay, so there's no way of really telling to an accurate degree how long it's going to take for Velo. But what I would say, the risk to reward is absolutely huge on Velo. And obviously, we have got higher targets for Velo, as you can see in the two tramlines that are marked out here. This is a sort of range that we did have before we went into the bear market in 2021, 2022. So we got some fantastic targets to be had again. Let me just measure up from current price action. Look at these. These are like 20 odd X. Look at that. That's is that 120X? Wow, that's like 12,000. It's so sensitive, guys. It just fluctuates around if I move the mouse ever so slightly. But you're approximately looking at 12,500%. So is that 126X? Because if it is, you need to be back in the chuckle for Velo. Massive risk to reward. This is probably one of the best risk to reward ratio coins out there at this moment in time. From what we're actually witnessing over here on the sort of coins that we're actually working for gradually, Velo is probably going to be the number one pick for risk to reward. I'm not just saying necessarily the returns, risk to reward, which is what you've got to account for. Now, what I am looking at here is a sort of, we're still inside that sort of cup, if you will. Bit of a draft sort of sketch, if you will. We're in this sort of cup and handle, and we've marked out where cup and handles do move. So this is what we're marking out, the top of this cup here to the bottom of this cup. And then what tends to happen is once we break the cup and handle, from the handle, you measure up there, and then this is where you get the sort of target. So this would be the next target from what that chart pattern is stipulating. That is a textbook move for the cup and handle. Can XRP go a lot higher? Yes, it can, but the likelihood is it's probably going to have to retrace. Usually it does retrace 50% of the next move. Say, for example, XRP gets up to approximately $7.50 here on the screen. What I'd be looking to do is put this measurement in here. So I could see XRP going to 750, and then we'll see a retracement down to this 50% mark, which is approximately around, well, it's just above sort of $5. So it'll be about $5.12, something like that. So if you are in XRP, what I'd probably look at doing is sort of targeting around sort of 750 or just below to make sure that you actually sell XRP. And then I'll be looking at re-entering around, just above $5. In that sense, if you are playing that, play, if you will, if we just go from where I expect it to go down to here, so it's going to be about 30% retracement, which is basically industry standard. 30% dips for large caps, for example, like Bitcoin is historical for doing 30% dips in a bull market. Ethereum, and other cryptos as well inside the sort of top 5, top 6 coins, if you will. So yeah, that's XRP. That's where I stand with that. XRP looking really, really good. Again, though, if we're just having a look from these, we're looking at 162% just to get to 750. Now for me, there's better gains on the table. We just go back to Velo now. What was we looking at just to get to the top? I marked out all the way up there. What I'm trying to do, guys, is showcase this. So that's a 400%. What would you rather have? Velo running up 400% to the top of that trend line, or XRP running up to 750 for 160% gains? Yeah, we're looking at percentages here, guys. We're not getting married to any coins. We're not thinking, XRP is going to resolve all banking issues. It's going to do cross-border remittances. All banks are going to use it. Institutional, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. We know XRP is good, but do I think the gains is there in the sort of short to medium? No. Do I think XRP is going to do tremendously well in the long term? Absolutely. I do believe the ISO coins are going to do absolutely huge numbers. Before we move on to any others, this is basically me just marking out the sort of risk to reward element. Again, similar to sort of Velo, I'm marking out the areas of interest where price has sort of visited in the past. So we've got the sort of support and the resistance. This is talking about alts outside of the top 10. So outside of the top 10, on average, there's a risk that crypto could capitulate by approximately 25%. So you've got to, when you're looking at your portfolio, if you're spread out over, say, like 10 to 20 coins, even 30 coins, some people may hold a lot more, but on average, I'd say most people hold around sort of 15 coins thereabouts, because you want to diversify, but you don't want to dilute and spread yourself too thin where you can't keep on top of the charts. Yeah, I can quite easily cover 10 to 15 charts, and then after that, it's going to become a bit of a strain keeping tabs on everything. And you know what? I believe in the coins that I hold. However, like I said, the risk involved with cryptos outside of the top 10, 25%. Obviously, the gain has increased. So you're looking at approximately 40% run if we break out of this red resistance. Okay. And that would take us up to all-time high for the altcoin index. Okay. So that's around 40%. So right now, the reward is outweighing the risk. So if you're hesitant about getting into altcoins at this moment in time, just know that the returns are probably going to be more favorable than the downside risk at this moment in time. So for me, that is a massive green light, okay, to be involved in altcoins despite the downturn recently. Let's just take a look through. We'll get to VRA, sorry. What else have we got? Have we covered XCN in today's video? I don't think I have. No, I'm not. XCN's up there anyway. We will get to XCN as well. This is VRA. I love VRA, mate. It's absolutely brilliant. Again, multi-year wedge. similar to, we've got Gala, Quant, and VRA, all in these sort of symmetrical triangles. All coins that have underperformed massively. However, on the flip side, these are brilliant coins to be investing in. Say, for example, you're in XRP. I don't know where it's at this moment. Is it about $3, just below $3? It's come down to $2.87. If you've been fortunate enough to hold XRP, I'd probably be rotating. I really would strongly consider rotating, because you're approximately six up from US election prices, and then you're investing at these low prices. Now, I'll just give you an example. If we take out the sort of current price action and just ride it up to all-time highs, even this second peak here, you're looking at 44x. Look at this, 75x. 75x. Yeah. What do you need? I bet you only need anywhere between $12,000 to $15,000 in Veracity, and by the end of the cycle, I'm pretty sure that you will be a millionaire if the prices do get up to these previous all-time highs. Okay, there may be tokenomic dilution, obviously, with rewards and staking, etc., will affect whether or not VRA can get up to these prices. But for me, the market cap is minuscule at this moment in time. I'm sure it's around $11 million. Correct me if I'm mistaken, around $11 million. Do you not think Veracity can revisit these highs? Of course it can. Yeah. It's still less than $1 billion, even if we got back up to these highs around 8 cents, 7. So for me, VRA has got every chance of doing a 74, 75x back to these sort of previous all-time highs. So Veracity, along with Velo, probably the two biggest picks, to be fair, for the long term. And even in the short term, Veracity and Velo can make some serious gains. I want to quickly cover Demetra. Not many people know this, but Demetra are teamed up. This is an agricultural coin, and it's basically representing the United Nations. So they do a lot of technology, like the satellites and the drones and the imagery, to sort of forecast sort of crops and seasons, etc. So Demetria has got some strong partnerships. Now, the reason why I like Demetria is because it's probably got the biggest sort of reward, not necessarily risk to reward, but the best reward of the most gains to get to US election prices. Okay, let me just just clear this sort of chart up. But this is what we're looking at right now. So if I just mark out US election highs, which was this point here, I think that was around 7th, 8th of December. And these are the current prices at this moment in time down here. So there's a 10x, 10, 11x, 10, 11, 12x just to get to the US election prices, okay, where it was trading. So there's every chance Demetria's probably got the best gains in the short term. However, that doesn't necessarily mean you should be putting all your eggs in one basket, because Demetria does come with a big risk, similar to Gala. And there's another coin, again, remind me in the comments, with some of the cryptos I've been looking at today. There's every chance Demetria could trade into this apex down here. There's a chance. Okay, I'm not saying it's going to happen. There's a chance. And that would mean a 66% downfall. So right now, Demetria is a massive risk, but also massive returns. So I wouldn't be looking at actually investing anything more than 10% in Demetria. I'd probably be playing it safer at this stage, say around 5% in Demetria. I'd say that is a safe allocation in your portfolio if you are considering Demetria. Like I say, partnered with United Nations, so strong future. XDC, where are we now? XDC, I'm not going to talk about targets for XDC, but just know XDC is in a fantastic place right now. We've got the 5th of November, US elections, which is when the altcoin got going. Okay, we've been in this prolonged sort of downtrend all the way through 2025, and it looks as if we continue to hold here. So I do expect XDC to begin making some big moves. Okay, so in terms of risk, XDC is probably where you want a lot of your allocation. If you're only investing in sort of 10 to 15 coins, XDC is going to be massive. And for me, in the ISO 222 basket, is probably the most undervalued pick. So if you are into, for instance, like your XRP, your XLM, HBAR, I'm not quite sure if that's classified, but for me, it still falls into that sort of utility basket, which banks are exploring. Yes, it's not a blockchain. It is not Hyperledger. What? It's someone else help me out. It's Hedera Hashgraph. It's Hashgraph technology, not blockchain. Okay. So HBAR, really, really good pick. But all those sort of baskets of currencies, Algorand, XDC, XLM, XRP, they're all going to move similarly together. And like I said, XDC is the most undervalued in that basket. So if you do invest in utility, XDC would be my number one pick. Now, for one of the favourites, we do have XCN as well. Let's get it to it. Almost save the sort of best to last in terms of the big moves. And again, similarly, I know people are not going to want to hear this, but there could be a potential for Onyx XCN. I want Onyx XCN to break out as much as you guys, yeah? It's just as frustrating for me to hold. And I know I cover the charts, and some people say, well, you thought this was going to happen. You thought X and Y, Z was going to happen. I need to be optimistic, yeah? I'm covering YouTube. I want, as long as you're holding the bag, that for me is my job done, because ultimately anybody that holds crypto, even if you bought up here for XCN or down here, it's irrelevant in comparison to where Onyx XCN coin is going to get. Because we know Onyx XCN coin can do it can do a 20x in 12 days. So if, as long as we're in that, and it literally takes 12 days, if you miss any of those days, say for instance, if we come back down here, say you're not invested in, you only invest in XN at this price. You just missed out on a 500% rally. That's happened in 2 days. You missed out on a 6x. Yes, it's retraced, but again, you still missed out. Even best case or worst case scenario, you're missing out on a 3x because you're not being invested in XN at the right time. You're getting in a bit too late. Like I said, regardless, it looks as if this is just what the macro structure is saying. There's a good chance that this could continue trading into sort of December, into the new year. And I don't like to say that, guys, because I don't want to sit here twiddling my thumbs with Onyx XCN coin for 3 months hodling whilst nothing happens. But we know the repercussions if you don't. You miss out on 5 to 6x within the space of 2 days. You miss out on 20x. 20x is life changing, yeah? Again, if you got 10k over 12 days and that multiplies 20x, you're talking like 200k. That's more than enough to buy real estate or a decent property. Do you know what I'm saying? So some life-changing gains. It's better than working 40 years of your life trying to save up and repay off your mortgage every month on your property. Yeah, from the age of, say, most people get jobs at like 18, 19, 20, whatever, adulthood. 18, you work all the way up to sort of 68, retirement age, whatever it is. It's 50 years paying off your mortgage. You can do this with coins like this, and I know it's painful, but believe me, worst case scenario, I think the end of the year, worst case scenario of us facing suppression in the markets. And I would imagine if we do, even if we are suppressed to the end of the year, we'll be looking at a 20x at the turn of 2026. Just how cryptos work, they like to move at the beginning of the day on smaller time frames, beginning of the week, beginning of the month, and certainly at the beginning of the year as well, guys. Okay. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. Make sure to click like, share, comment, subscribe. If you want to go one step further, join the Discord. Make sure to take advantage of that 3-day free trial, guys. And I'll see you guys in the next video. I've been the Block Bull. Until next time, the Block Bull is over and out.